Welcome back to the Deep Dive. This is where we take a huge stack of sources, boil them all down, and give you the real story behind something you think you know.
And today, we are sinking our teeth into something, well, truly fundamental.
American cuisine. Everyone has an opinion on it, and it tells this entire messy, fascinating history of a nation.
It really does.
And our mission today, it goes way beyond just listing off recipes. What our sources tell us is that the American menu, it's not one single food culture.
Not at all. It's more like the explosive result of a continent, these huge waves of migration, and a really powerful ideology.
Exactly. So we're going to trace how essential native knowledge, the tragedy of slavery, industrialization, and our obsession with speed,
Especially speed.
how all that forged the menu we eat today.
And that concept of speed is just so central. I mean, if you really want to understand the identity of the United States, all its complexities and contradictions, you almost have to skip the Constitution.
And read the menu instead.
You read the menu because the so-called national dishes are these incredibly complex products of so many different historical forces, and sometimes those forces are fighting each other.
Okay, so let's unpack this from the very beginning. The 17th century, European colonists arrive. Now, they didn't bring recipes that worked here, did they?
No, they brought what you'd call culinary habits. They knew how to cook what was familiar back home.
But the North American land, the climate,
Yeah.
it forced to change.
It forced a dramatic rewrite of everything. I mean, their entire approach to farming and cooking, it just failed in this new landscape. So to avoid starving, they had to rely entirely on learning from the people who were already here.
So the first colonial kitchen was minimalist.
Extremely minimalist. It was about pure function, calories. There was absolutely zero room for pretense or showing off.
So what were those absolute staples they had to learn, the things that really became the building blocks of it all?
Well, the influence of Native American knowledge was, and this is no exaggeration, it was pivotal. They learned to depend on the three sisters.
Corn, squash, and beans.
Exactly. Crucial for calories, crucial for agriculture. And corn, or maize. That was maybe the single most important food they were introduced to.
Corn changed everything.
It did.
Suddenly you've got the foundation for cornbread, for grits, for hominy.
And they also learned about key protein sources like turkey and sweeteners they'd never seen, like maple syrup.
So a lot of what we think of as fundamentally American today comes directly from that knowledge exchange.
It's a direct derivation of that essential native knowledge.
Yeah.
The early colonial staples,
Yeah.
simple stews, smoked fish, cornbread, they were all born out of pure necessity.
Not culinary inspiration.
Not at all. It was a place of life or death learning.
Okay, so this is where it starts to get really interesting. The nation expands in the 19th century, and the cuisine, it fractures.
It fractures dramatically, based on region, on class, and maybe most importantly on the structure of labor. The American menu starts to mirror the American economy.
And you see two very different paths emerge.
Two permanent archetypes, really, the industrial North and the agrarian South. In the North, things were industrializing fast.
The focus was on efficiency.
Pure efficiency for the working class. The diet was utilitarian. Meat, potatoes, bread, simple soups. Food that was easy to make, easy to eat fast, and cheap.
That sounds like, that feels like the direct ancestor of the fast food mentality, doesn't it?
It absolutely is. It's about optimizing your time before the factory whistle blows.
Speed over flavor.
Exactly. It established that cultural acceptance of speed over flavor.
Yeah.
But the South tells a much deeper, much more complex, and frankly, a much more painful story.
Tied directly to the legacy of slavery.
Inextricably. Southern cuisine, which of course includes what we now call soul food, is a cuisine born from incredible resourcefulness under the most extreme constraint imaginable.
So it was about creating something from almost nothing.
Precisely. It was a combination of African cooking techniques merging with necessity, using the minimal, often undesirable ingredients that were available on a plantation.
What were some of those techniques? What specific insights were so transformative?
Well, invaluable knowledge in seasoning, for one. Techniques for slow cooking really tough cuts of meat to make them tender and flavorful. And methods for using greens and offal.
The parts the plantation owners would just discard.
The parts they discarded. They turned things like collard greens and hog parts into these deeply flavored, sustaining meals. And that's where we get what we now call comfort food.
So things like fried chicken, cornbread.
Fried chicken, highly seasoned vegetables, cornbread, dishes that are rich in history, forged in the worst circumstances, but that ultimately provided solace and identity.
So let's take that history now. The efficiency from the North. The cultural blending from the South, and look at the most famous dishes, the icons.
This is where you see the ultimate cultural mashup. It's immigrant traditions meeting that American desire for portable efficiency.
Okay, let's start with the big one, the hamburger.
Right. So, ground meat traditions, they existed in Germany. But the American innovation, the thing that made it the hamburger, was putting it between two slices of bread.
Which made it portable.
Portable, easy to eat while you're standing up or driving, and crucially, so easy to mass produce. It's the meeting point of German food and the factory assembly line.
And what about fried chicken? You said that's also a blend.
It's a remarkable blend. It's not a singular Southern invention. You had Scottish settlers with a tradition of frying chicken, but that was combined with the very specific, sophisticated seasoning and deep frying techniques that were brought by enslaved Africans. That combination is what led to the version we know today. It is synthesis personified.
And the icon of practicality, mac and cheese.
Ah, the wartime star.
Right. It wasn't about speed in the same way, but it was all about efficiency.
Total efficiency. Kraft packaged it as a dried, non-perishable product during World War II rationing. It was cheap, it was filling, simple to make, and kids loved it. It's a symbol of American food engineering.
Okay, but then you have barbecue, which feels like the complete opposite of everything we've been talking about.
It's the exception that proves the rule, isn't it? Barbecue is all about patience.
Low and slow.
Low and slow, sometimes 12, 18 hours. It's a deep cultural counterpoint, a ritual that just rejects the rush. It symbolizes the South's agrarian roots, that community ritual of waiting for something perfect.
So the icons are really about this lightning-fast adaptation of global traditions to meet the demands of this accelerating American life.
And that acceleration just goes into overdrive in the 20th century. If the 19th century was about regional differences, the 20th was all about the pace of life.
Time. The biggest driver of change wasn't flavor or health, it was time management.
Absolutely. Think about the drivers. Rigid factory schedules, long working hours that killed lengthy meal prep, and then the explosion of the automobile.
Which demanded roadside food. Quick, standardized food, convenience became the main ingredient.
And that tempo placed very strict demands on food production. To succeed in that new world, food had to be three things: fast, cheap, and standardized.
Let's talk about standardization for a second. Why was it so important that a burger in California had to taste exactly like one in New York?
Because standardization became this cultural value. It aligned with the whole myth of American efficiency and reliability. You didn't have to trust a local chef you didn't know.
You trusted the brand.
You trusted the brand. It guaranteed a predictable experience no matter where you were. It completely eliminated regional variation in favor of the consistent character of a corporation.
So fast food became more than just a meal. It was a reflection of a life tempo.
A total reflection. It validated the idea that relentless progress was king, even at the dinner table. And it was a complete reversal of how things started.
From regional and seasonal
to global and industrial, the kitchen basically migrated from the home hearth to the franchise strip mall in less than 100 years.
Which brings us to this fascinating modern contradiction. After decades of maximizing speed, we're now seeing this huge counter-movement.
A conscious pushback. People are actively trying to slow the whole thing down.
The ultimate pendulum swing.
It is. Consumers started realizing that the cost of all that speed, culturally and physically. The new questions became, where did this come from? Who made it? And how fast was it made?
And this slowing down is showing up all over the menu now, isn't it?
Absolutely. You have the explosion of the farm-to-table philosophy, which is a direct rejection of the global supply chain. You have the rise of artisan everything.
Right, even the artisan burger, the slow, expensive version of the fast food icon.
Exactly. And you see it in the huge growth of vegan and plant-based diets, which often focus on unprocessed whole foods. It's a rejection of the chemical engineering of packaged meals.
And maybe most profoundly, a return to indigenous recipes.
Yes. A return to studying and using Native American ingredients and techniques. It's this deliberate attempt to rediscover the original, authentic American food culture that was almost lost. It's history driving the modern menu.
So if we put it all together, from survival corn to the industrial hamburger to the artisan resurgence, American cuisine seems to tell us that we are, as a nation, Fast, practical, immigrant-based ending.
And deeply structurally contradictory.
That contradiction is everything, isn't it?
It's the essence of the modern American plate. We live in this world of simultaneous extremes. You have the cheap calorie saturation of fast food chains right next door to the obsession with organic, Michelin-starred dining.
We want maximum efficiency and painstaking, slow perfection at the same time.
We do, and that's why American cuisine isn't just a collection of recipes. It's a collection of historical stories. Every single bite has a timeline.
From the indigenous knowledge that saved the first settlers to the global supply chain that got it to your plate today.
And that's really the final thought for you to take away. If this cuisine is defined by the tension between maximum speed and absolute purity, what does that say about the nation itself?
That sometimes, to really understand a country, its values, its hidden history, its pressures, you don't read the Constitution.
You read the menu, the choices on the plate reveal the compromises, the triumphs, and the ongoing cultural battles that built the society you live in.
Absolutely. The next time you grab a quick bite or sit down for a slow meal, think about the history on your plate. That's all the time we have for this deep dive. We'll see you next time.